So the goal of life is to take our eyes off of what we see and put our eyes on the spiritual. And you wrap that up, that's basically what everything he just said is telling us. There's stuff that's going to happen in the natural that we've got to make our mind up to stand in the spirit. And wait for sometimes we got to wait for the spirit to catch up with the natural. Because there's a war happening, and that spirit hasn't caught up to the physical yet because of the war happening. We ain't been renewed enough to receive something in the spirit enough. Our flesh keeps fighting it. It's all that going on. Verse 4. Though I myself might have some grounds for confidence in the flesh, if I were pursuing salvation by works. If anyone else thinks that he has reason to be confident in the flesh, that is in his own effort to achieve salvation, I have far more. Is Paul bragging?
He is making his point by bragging. He is about to destroy, in the next cluster of verses, everything he bragged about. But he's a good Greek philosopher. He learned that Greek philosophy. And so he's going to say, now listen, none of you has this. None of you will probably ever have this. I have it.
Right.
And I don't even care about it.
Right. That's the perfect way to explain it. Everything Paul is, and I don't know if he says a lot of it here, but there's other scriptures where he actually lists what he's talking about here. I was the greatest Pharisee of Pharisees. I followed the law to the T. I was more intellectual than anyone. And then in different places he'll switch to the spiritual list, and this is what I'm really proud of. So he had his ABCs in a row. He wasn't bragging as far as I'm better than you. He was making a point. I had all of this in the natural, which looked like I was the best of the best. I'm giving it up to go to the spiritual, and I'm going to put that same fervency, that same fire, that same excitement, that same effort and energy to be the best in the spirit. But I know I have to rely on the Holy Spirit to help me do all of that. So let's see where he gets to. Circumcision when I was 8 days old. Here comes the list of the nation of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin. A Hebrew of Hebrews, an exemplary Hebrew. As to observer of the law, a Pharisee. As to my zeal for Jewish tradition, a persecutor of the church. As to righteousness, supposed right living with my fellow Jewish believers, is in the law. I proved myself blameless. So Paul's leaders, Paul's surrounding fellow Jewish people could not look at Paul and go, I don't know, what about this 611th command you have here? You might have missed that. No.